everybody, it's Shauna here with ReEmerging Yoga. This is class 2 of our beginning yoga series. There's 8 classes in total. This is a foundational series. It's for complete beginners. It's also for people who have not done yoga in a very long time and want to go back to the very basics. The main goal in this series is to teach you the foundational poses in yoga and also some foundational philosophy, just, basic, the foundation, and to help you to learn how to get into these poses correctly so you avoid injury. So on that note, we're going to talk about honoring our bodies as one of the 8 limbs of yoga, or part of one of the 8 limbs of yoga, because we started talking about that last time. So before I go into that, just grab your things that you need. If you recall from class 1, the most important thing that I always have is this folded blanket that I put under my sit bones when I'm sitting in any seated posture, pretty much. It's also great for putting under your knees to take some of that, just to give it some more cushion and protect your joints. I have a bigger blanket that I may or may not use at the end of class. This is, like if you get cold or if you need extra help under your knees here in certain poses, a pillow and a blanket are good things just to have to grab, just to go, oh, this is hurting me, I think I'm gonna cushion my knee. That's always good. It's always a good thing to help your joints and your bones feel better. The other thing that we will use today that if you don't have, that's totally fine, but I have a strap. This isn't even a proper strap. This is off of my yoga mat. But if you have a robe tie or just a long piece of string that can go about this far, this is a little bit stretchy, that would be great. And if you don't, not a problem, don't worry. I'm gonna show you how to do this one stretch without it if you don't have one. And we're only going to use it for one thing, so not a problem. So I'll give you a second if you need to pause the video and grab all of your goodies. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention blocks. If you have them, cool. If you don't, books, folded towels. These are my Target $10 blocks. So I use them occasionally to help bring the floor up to me. Also, they're nice to use as props under you for certain poses. Okay, so grab what you need, and when you are ready, come back and find a comfortable seat. So once you have landed here in your space that you've carved out for yourself, just start to either relax your gaze. It's always nice to just kind of look down the bridge of your nose, just don't go cross-eyed and give yourself a headache. Or close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing so. And just start to pay attention to your breath. You can start by deepening your breath as well, if that, gets your focus to go off of the things that you have just left behind in order to come into this space, and also the things that you're not thinking about yet that you may have to do today. So this is that gap in between what's just been and what will be. So last time we talked about the 8 limbs of yoga that Patanjali, the father of modern yoga, put down in the Yoga Sutras. And obviously we're not going to go into all of that today. I don't want to overload you with information plus all of this other stuff, but I do like to sprinkle these things in. So today we're just going to imagine a tree. So imagine the roots of the tree, the stalk or the trunk of the tree, and branches going up. And we're just going to talk about the first 3 limbs of yoga. The first 2 being the roots of the tree. So yamas and niyamas are like the roots of the tree. The yamas are what we think of as the things not to do. In Western philosophy, I would think of it like something like the 10 Commandments, but they're not really commandments, they're just sort of suggestions on what not to do to have a better life. And the niyamas are the things to do to have a better life. And then in the center is the trunk, and that's us right now doing these asanas or these poses. There are 5 more branches or 5 more limbs that I will go into and sprinkle in classes to come, so we're not going to talk about all of them today. But I do want to focus on one of the yamas. So there are 5 yamas and there are 5 niyamas. And while you're sitting here, you can just keep yourself relaxed, keep yourself breathing. I'm not going to talk too long, but this is sort of where we're headed today. But the only thing that we're going to focus on today is the first of the yamas, which is Ahimsa, and that is nonviolence. Nonviolence is a big concept and it can mean a lot of things, but for the purpose of this class and something that I will continue to talk about throughout any yoga video that I ever do, I specifically will talk about nonviolence towards yourself or honoring your body. And of course in yoga, we're not flogging ourselves or anything like that, but when we aren't mindful of our bodies and what our bodies are capable of and trying to push too far in order to look a certain way in a pose or look like a teacher or look like someone you saw on Instagram, we're not really honoring our bodies, and we will get injured if we continue down that road. So we're just going to think about Ahimsa today and how we can continue to honor our bodies and not push ourselves too far, but also challenge ourselves just enough. We call it meeting your personal edge. And that means something different to each person because we're all unique. We're not all going to look the same in a pose. And some of us are never ever going to get in certain poses because of the way our bodies are structured, and that's fine because that's not the goal. So here we are in our easy seats. We're going to start our practice now with that in mind, that Ahimsa. And we're just going to slowly start to roll our shoulders. So you're sitting nice and comfortably, however that looks for you, whether it's on your mat, on a couch, in a chair. Rolling your shoulders. The main thing is to keep your spine nice and tall and straight as it can for you. Reverse the direction of your shoulders here. We don't all have perfectly straight spines either, by the way, and I fully realize that because my youngest daughter had severe scoliosis, to where she is completely fused from the bottom of her cervical spine, her neck, all the way to her tailbone. And so it's straight now, but it wasn't before. But the straightness now means that she doesn't have any flexibility to bend her spine. So yoga for her looks very, very different. All right, so now we're going to bring our arms up in what I call goalpost pose. And this isn't easy for everyone either. This is actually quite a stretch for me, right across the upper chest area and in through my shoulders and that. But the reason why we're doing this, and we're going to be doing a couple more shoulder warm-ups, is because we're going to spend quite a bit of time in downward facing dog today, which puts a lot of stress on your shoulders. You might already be feeling this in your upper arms. Just turn them down if you can, and when you do, try not to scrunch your shoulders up to your ears. So if you find yourself doing that to relieve some of the stress, pull your arms down, your shoulders away from your ears. It might not, you might just be down here. That's fine. One more time, up and down. Great. Now this is where we are going to use a strap. Again, if you don't have one, I'm going to show you how to do it without the strap. Just watch for a second and then I will show you both ways. So we're going to warm up our rotator cuffs, this part of the shoulder. Shoulders are one of the most mobile areas of your body, but if they wear out, oh my goodness, you're not in good shape. So we need to keep them nice and warm and ready for what we're going to do. So if you have a strap, just hold it out in front of you. Your arms, it should be as wide as you can hold the strap, I would say. And so I'm going to hold mine up and then reach back behind me. And if my arms can't come all the way back and around, that's okay. But I have to really make my strap super wide to do that. So I'm thinking like jump rope.
You don't want it to like hit you in the back of the head though, so you might have to fiddle around with it to get it to the perfect length. Okay, and if you don't have a strap, I'm going to show you in just a second. So if you have a strap, we're just kind of stretching our rotator cuffs by doing a gentle rotation like this, forward and back. If you do not have a strap, interlace your fingers, place your palms facing front, and chin down, and this is chin down for strap or no strap. Bring your arms up overhead. Obviously, you're not going to be able to swing them all the way around, but just hold that for just a couple of breaths, and then come down, and we're going to, and this is again, if you don't have a strap, this is no strap. I'm just turning so I can show you. So behind, your palms are going to be facing your back, and if this might be enough of a stretch for you, and if it is, cool, but your head is going to be looking down, chin to chest, and then just lift your arms up as high as they'll go with this little bind. And it's a great stretch for your upper chest. It's a nice heart opener, nice stretch for your shoulders. Okay. There. So if you've done your little stretch there, we can get rid of our strap. That's all we needed the strap for. So now I'll just give you a second while I readjust my seat to finish those shoulder stretches. Remember to go very, very slow. Again, I'm going to keep emphasizing the no harm thing today, just to make sure that everything we do is slow, mindful, and intentional. There's no rush, there's no need to get through, the class is what it is time-wise, so doing something faster is not gonna make it go faster. So just always remember that. And I have to remind myself of that as well. So again, here we're sitting in our easy seat, fingers gently on the floor. Some of you might have longer arms and your palms might be on the floor. Our bodies are different. So turn your right palm out, inhale, right arm up, gently clasping your left ear and right ear to right shoulder. Don't force, don't pull. Feeling that stretch down your left side. Remember we did this last time, so just building. I also like to repeat some of these stretches just to see if you feel a difference over a period of time with doing certain things. Inhale, right arm up and down. Flipping your left palm facing out. Inhale, left arm up and overhead, clasping your right ear, gently bringing your left ear to left shoulder. Breathing here. Breathing into any sore spots or sticky spots, but remember, pain is not good, so if you feel pain, you need to come out of the pose. Inhale, arm up and down. Right, now just plant your left palm on the ground, and if you have to lean over towards it, that's to get it to go on the ground, that's fine, because we're going to be bending this arm anyway. And again, flip your right hand to face palm out. Inhale, up and over with that right arm while you bend your left arm to sink into your left side, getting a really nice stretch on your right side body. And you can gaze down towards your left hand, or you can gaze up towards your right hand. You can experiment with what feels better for your neck. Sometimes it just feels nice to do a little bit one way and then the other. Inhale up and over, and planting the right palm, flipping the left palm, and inhaling in, bringing that left arm up and overhead, bending your right elbow, getting a nice stretch down the left side of the body. Breathing into this. Inhaling up and over. Great. Right hand to left knee. Left hand, you're going to make a little tent with your fingers, and use that to push yourself up nice and tall. So you want your spine to be nice and straight. And on the inhale, straighten yourself as much as you can, and then on the exhale, gently twist. Again, emphasizing gently, and you can look over your left shoulder. Inhale again and straighten again, so always be mindful of straightening that spine before you twist. And then exhale, see if you can go a little bit deeper. If you can't, good, that's fine. Just look gently past your left shoulder. And inhale back to center. Left hand to right knee. Right hand makes that tent and pushes you straight up. Nice and elongated spine as you inhale, and exhale, twist. Inhale again, getting a little bit more length if you can. And exhale, twist. Beautiful. Okay, we're going to be moving into our table now. So we've done our little bit of a shoulder and upper back warm up. Coming forward into table, I just plant my palms and gently roll over my knees and sort of crawl. You see Nala here, she just loves to sit by me when I do yoga. So before I get into table, I'm just gonna repeat that if you need this, your blanket to pad your knees, it is nice. It's a nice little extra bonus for you. Go ahead and do that. My mat is pretty cushy, so I'm going to move this away for now, but just wanted to remind you that that is an option. All right, so we're going to, just before we do anything, I just want to let you know what we're doing and what we're working towards. So we're going to build on that table pose that we learned. We're going to build on core strength today, and if that scares you and you're like, no, don't worry, it's gentle, and core strength, upper body strength are essential for not injuring yourself in yoga, but also just for continuing in yoga. But having that core strength to do poses correctly is the game changer. It was a game changer for me. So if you recall, in our table, we are stacking our shoulders over our wrists, our hands are clawed, we're focusing on this thumb and forefinger and making that arch to take the weight out of our wrists. We're pushing up and away from our mat. Our hips are stacked over our knees, and our feet are pressing, the tops of our feet are pressing into the mat. All right? Now that's our basic table, but first we're gonna do a little bit of a switcheroo with our hands to give ourselves a wrist stretch. So if you can, just turn your wrist to where your fingers are facing towards you. If they can't twist all the way around, you can twist them just to where they're facing outwards, all right? So however your wrists can go, you can do that. And then we're just gonna take a little circle one way, and then the other way. And this is again because I like to make sure that we're nice and warmed up, before we start getting on our hands and doing lots of things. And you can come back on your heels and give yourself a little wrist twisties and just kind of shake that out. All right. Okay, coming into table again and making sure that you have all of these things, checklist going on. Hands clawed, pushing up and away from the mat, pushing down through the tops of your feet, belly in and up. And we're going to go revisit that balancing table. So balancing table is in your one leg and the opposite arm. Okay, we're gonna build on that and add something to it. Always know that you don't have to do the leg and the arm. If you're still working on just getting the leg up or just getting the arm up, just continue to do that until you feel strong enough. The worst thing is to go ahead and try it when you know you're not strong enough, and then you collapse here in your back because your core isn't strong enough, and then you end up using the wrong muscles, the back muscles, instead of your core
to hold you up. So this is a core exercise, not a lower back exercise, okay? So, all right, here we are, pulling everything up and in, pushing away, inhaling, right leg, left arm, reaching. Flex that right foot and try to feel like you're kicking the wall behind you and really reaching forward with that right arm and down. All right, stabilize again, remembering that cross brace between the knee that's down and the wrist that's down. Inhaling, left leg, right arm, flex the left foot, really, really reach with your heel and your fingers, pulling your core in and down. Okay. If you have that, we're going to build on it. If you don't have it just yet, again, honor yourself, that's fine. Just practice doing, you know, this or just this. But if you do have it, we're gonna inhale, doing the arm and the leg, and then we're gonna bring our elbow and knees together on the exhale, okay? That's a pretty big core move. So take it slow and be easy on yourself, okay? So inhale, right leg, left arm, really reach and stretch, and on the exhale, bending, rounding, bringing that elbow to the knee, squeeze, squeeze, and release. It's a lot of work, okay? Inhale, left leg, right arm, reach, 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 exhale, squeeze, elbow to knee, squeeze, 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 squeeze. If it doesn't get all the way to your knee, that's okay, it will in time. All right, so now we're gonna just flex our toes, tuck our toes under, and we're still working on core. Remember, if you need a break, you can always just lean back into child's pose and take a breath. Once we start turning this core on, we're working. Even if we're moving slow, and I call that working smarter, not harder, okay? All right, so our toes are tucked, and this is just before we go into downward facing dog to sort of test our strength here. Toes are tucked, and then pushing up and away from the mat, clawing your fingers, pulling your navel into your spine, and then just gently lift your knees. We did this in class 1, but take an extra breath here. One more breath. Exhale down. Good job. Let's take a quick child's pose. Excellent. Okay, so now same position with your toes tucked, belly up and in, and we're just going to push ourselves back to downward facing dog. This is our first downward dog of the day. And here, feel what feels good to you, like walking out your heels, maybe adjusting your handprints to see where, where they best fit. Just make sure that you're doing all the adjustments to your own body. And here we're isometrically pulling our hands in towards the midline. Our bellies are up and in. Just breathing here. If you want, you can sort of see if you can melt your heart in between your shoulders. Great. Okay. Ground down through your left foot. On the next inhale, lift your right leg. Bend your right knee, and then stack your right hip over your left hip. This is three-legged dog. It's a nice hip opener stretch. Great. Slowly, carefully bring that down. Find your stability. Breathe. Always know you can come to child's pose if your shoulders are getting too sore and you need a break. Ground down through your right foot. Inhale, lift your left leg, bend your left knee, and stack that left hip over the right. Breathing. Come back through center. Gently bring your left leg down. Breathing in, looking between your hands.
we're going to gently walk forward to the top of the mat. However you get there, just take your time. Once you're here, you can, if you like, use your blocks to bring the ground up to you. That's helpful, just as an added, stretch. Otherwise, grab onto your opposite elbows and just hang here for a second, letting your head hang free, rock side to side. We're already working here. I can feel it. I hope you can too, and I hope that you're just doing what you can do. All right. Letting your elbows go, we're going to slowly roll up, stacking vertebrae onto vertebrae, coming all the way up to Tadasana, or mountain pose. And remembering in mountain, I'm just going to turn to face you so you can see. Remembering in mountain, we're just a strong mountain. So again, we're going to think about that tree, and we are the asana practice. We're the middle, the trunk right now, or we're a mountain. But however we are, we're strong, okay? Feet are grounded. Our feet are rooted into the ground. Our toes are grasping the mat or whatever is underneath us. And we're feeling those four corners of our feet grounded into the earth underneath us. When I say four corners, it's the ball of the big toes, the balls of the pinky toes, and the corners of our heels, even though they're not rectangles, they do kind of have corners, rounded corners. And so those are all touching the ground. So just try to think about it in those terms, that your feet are firmly on the ground. Your toes aren't up, and you're not leaning back, and you're not leaning forward and having all the weight on the toes. Also, you're pulling in and up, energy coming up through the front body, grounding down through the back body. Tummy is up and in, shoulders are away from your ears, hands are open, facing forward, mountain. All right, so now we're going to start our Surya Namaskar, sun salutation. I'm gonna run us through one kind of tiny flow. And when I say tiny, I mean because we're adding on to this flow. I'm gonna run you through a little bit of a flow based on what we did in class 1. And then I'm gonna teach you a pose that goes in the middle of the flow. And we'll add that on next time. But I wanna teach you the pose first because it's difficult and it takes a lot of strength. So we're gonna do some modifications for it so that in the next class, you've got a little bit more of a flow to run through. Okay, so I'm just gonna come back to the front of my mat. Here we are in mountain pose. Gently bend your knees. Inhale, bringing the arms up overhead, hands together, bringing them down to the center line, to your chest in Anjali Mudra or prayer pose. And from here, we're going to inhaling in, reaching all the way up. You don't need to bring your palms together, but you can come back in a back bend slightly. Flip the palms, hinging at the hips, exhaling as you dive down to Uttanasana, standing forward fold. Planting the palms on an inhale here. Exhale, step the right foot back, bend the right knee, uncurl the right toe. This is all on the exhale. And then inhale after you find your stability, bringing both hands up and overhead. Exhale down, hands framing that left foot, curl your right toe, plant those palms, and bring your left foot back and push yourself into downward facing dog. Don't worry too much about marrying your breath with this because it's going to change when we add other poses. Okay? So, in downward facing dog, we're going to raise our right leg just slightly, come up on our left toe, bend your right knee, and see if you can bring your right foot between your hands. I have to help my foot every single time, so no worries if you can't. I have always had to do that. Something to do with, I don't know, my hip flexor not really, being that stretchy. Anyway, come down on your left knee, uncurl your left toe, find your stability, inhale, looking up, slight back bend here, and then exhale, coming down, framing that right foot, curling that left foot, stepping back again into downward facing dog. Looking between your hands, slowly walking towards the top of the mat. Here we are in Uttanasana, standing forward fold again. And then inhaling, coming all the way up to meeting your palms, bringing your hands down to Anjali Mudra, prayer pose at your chest. There, that was your first flow. It's okay if you were wobbly during, the lunges and stuff, because it's you're building strength, and as you do, your core is going to get stronger and serve as that sort of central area where everything can move off of it. So you're doing great, okay? Now, I'm gonna show you, this is something that you're gonna wanna sit back on your heels and take a break and watch for a minute. This is called 8-limbed pose. This is a variation of Chaturanga, and if you are familiar with these terms, you'll know that Chaturanga is like the push-up pose that you do in the middle of a flow. They call it take a vinyasa, or you do the Chaturanga push-up, and then you push yourself up to upward facing dog or cobra. I'm going to show you that, but I just want you to take a break. And I want you to really understand that this takes so much upper body strength that for all my yoga years, I didn't realize I was doing it wrong, and I thought I had the strength to do it without being on my knees. And when I learned through teacher training that I needed to have my hands and arms in a right angle in order to not hurt my rotator cuffs, I had to go back to my knees to learn how to do it correctly. And I'm still on my knees because I still don't feel like I have it 100%. And that is okay. There's no shame in learning how to build strength and doing things correctly so you don't injure yourself. So that said, we're going to learn, okay? So I'm gonna show you the incorrect way first. It's not gonna hurt me to do it 1 or 2 times and show you how I was doing it wrong, okay? That's the most important part. So Chaturanga, and I'm gonna get into the 8-limbed pose in just a minute. Chaturanga is basically when you're in downward facing dog in your flow, and then you come to Chaturanga, and then you're gonna lower yourself onto your belly before you come into cobra, or this is upward facing dog where your legs are not touching the ground. Okay, so did that totally wrong. And the reason why is because I think I talked about this in class 1. So your shoulders and your elbows need to be at right angles. It can't be like this. It's kind of like how in a lunge, you don't want your knees over your toes. You want your knees over your ankles, and your hips and your knee and your ankle are at a right angle. Same with your arms. So in order to do it, to make the right angle, you're going to want to come forward of your wrists, and you're forward of your wrists without collapsing in your back, okay? So don't follow along with me, please, because just want you to watch, because I want you to see why I was doing it wrong. So I was doing it like this, okay, just to get into the flow. And some of these classes go so fast that I just wanted to look like everybody else, and I was really, really hurting myself. So this is what we do instead, or until we have the full strength to do it properly. So first of all, I'm on my knees. I'm still coming forward of my hips. My toes are tucked. I'm doing all of those things from table that I showed you, clasping your hands, and then you're going to lead with your chest, and come down to your belly, and then up to cobra, okay? So, that's what is going to go in the middle of your vinyasa. Another variation is the 8-limbed pose, and this is basically just a wider hand stance. This sometimes really helps people if your hands are a bit wider, like as wide as the mat. You start out in table, toes are tucked. You are going to really pull your belly in, come forward of your wrists. Your elbows are tucked in. This is the same for Chaturanga. Your elbows are tucked in really close to your side, so they're not out. You're not bending your elbows outside. They're tucked in. And you're going to lead with your chest, and you're coming down with your chest and your chin to this position, your butt up in the air, and then slowly kind of snaking through. All right? Okay, so we're gonna try it, but before you do, I just want to show you what you can do instead if that is just too much, and you'll know by doing this. So come to your knees. Please don't let me assume that you don't have upper body strength. I don't know who's watching this video. You might be super strong, so if you are, by all means, you've probably got me beat. But I'm basing it on what I was, and that was not very strong in my upper body. So from table, and this is just a test to see if you're strong enough. Come forward a little bit, just sort of leaning your shoulders a little bit in front of your hands, and then tucking your elbows in. Just bend and see how far you can go and still be able to push yourself up. So try that 2 more times, and if you are fine, then go ahead and try what I showed you. So we're gonna lean forward, bend, trying to get that 90 degree, and up. We're really working today. Okay, 1 more time. Coming forward, clawing your fingers, tucking in your elbows, pulling in your tummy, bend, and push up. Okay, come and take a rest. If you had that and you are not even breaking a sweat, then you're ready to try the Chaturanga. And if so, let's do it. If not, take a rest, either in child's pose, like this, or your toes touching, your knees coming as wide as the mat, and your arms outstretched, or knees together and arms behind you. There are lots of options. Or you can just sit up and watch me struggle through another Chaturanga. Okay, so here we are. Hands and knees, tabletop position. I'm going to tuck my toes. I'm going to claw my fingers, pushing up and away from the mat, coming forward of my fingers, elbows in and tucked in tightly. I'm going to come all the way down and up to Cobra. Okay, I'm not going to really teach Cobra too much today because I think that might be a lot, but I will teach it in class 3. Okay, and from here, if you're here, you're trying this, just push yourself back into that child's pose and meet everybody else who's taking a nice, well-deserved rest. Okay, so we're going to get back into Tadasana, mountain pose, and one more time, I know that when we would do a sun salutation and keep with the flow, we wouldn't be doing this big break in between, but this, again, mechanics. So come back into table. All right. Finding your stability here, fingers clawed, everything pushed away, bones stacked, tucking the toes, coming back into downward facing dog. This is the last downward facing dog that we're doing today, so really make the most of it. See if you can really get your head between your shoulder blades. Feel like your shoulder blades are pulling, squeezing in towards each other, like you could squeeze a penny in between them. Breathing. Let's do lion's breath. Inhale a deep breath in. And exhale out your mouth, tongue out. One more. Deep breath into your belly. Exhale, tongue out. Look forward between your hands and just stepping up to the top of your mat. This time, grab onto the opposite elbow and rock yourself out here. And then slowly roll up to mountain. Awesome. Now, we have a couple more little core things here, so don't panic. I'm gonna do them nice and slow. Remember, this is all going to be helpful in the long run. And again, it's the foundation. Core is the foundation of yoga. Okay, so it's not too difficult. Now, standing in mountain, bring your feet really together. So big toes touching, heels touching as much as they possibly can. My big toes go like that, so whatever, the bones of my big toes are touching. Doing the same thing in the mountain as we did before, pulling up through the front body and down through the back body. And we're going to reach up with our hands on a big inhale, coming together with our hands and our heart in Anjali Mudra. I'd like us to take one quick moment here with our eyes closed, and it might be hard because you're standing with your feet together, but see if you can close your eyes and just feel your balance. This is an interesting place to be with your feet together because obviously you have changed the stability. But the more you do this, the more stable you will become. So remembering to ground down through your feet, both feet. Now, your feet together here are symbolizing one foot, like you are one tall, strong tree. And just go back to that intention, that Ahimsa, that non-violence, that intention that, we're going to honor our bodies here. And if we've gotten to this point in the video and we've had enough, just maybe watch the rest of the video or do what you can. Okay, you can always come back to this video and test yourself to see how far you get. And just keep going through it until you feel like you've got it, okay? Right. From here, we're going to gently bend our knees, but as we do, our bottom, I'm gonna turn sideways for a second so you can see. As we do, our booties are going to go towards our heels. So it's like a squat, but we're bending and squeezing our knees together, pulling our tummies in. Our hands are still in prayer. I know the balance might be funny. Breathe deeply as you need to, and just go as deep as you can. And then inhale and take your arms behind you. This might seem counterintuitive. These are airplane arms. However, this is a great stretch for our shoulders, and we're going to go in the reverse in just a second. So maybe go down just another half an inch. Breathe, and then sweep your arms up, standing up with a nice big inhale. Doesn't that feel great? Okay, bring your arms down and back to prayer. Taking as many breaths as you need to catch your breath here. So that is chair pose, Utkatasana, and in Sanskrit, and it's such a great pose for your booties and for your legs and for your core. So one more time, we're gonna pull everything in and up. Putting our weight back into our heels. Remember, you want to see your toes when you go down because you don't want your knees over your toes. Going down and breathing in as you bring your hands down, and this time bring your hands forward. Okay, and you can look down between your hands, kind of making sure that you're not twerking your neck here. Breathing, pulling in your tummy. Now listen here. Inhale, and on the exhale, we're going to swim down into Uttanasana again. Okay? And from here, plant your palms and step back into plank position. Now here you can be on your knees, of course, and you may absolutely need to be after all of our core work. But either way, you're pushing up and away from your mat. Your body is domed, so you're not like flat. You're like in a dome, like pulling like a hollow bell. Breathe here, and then, if you're on your knees, breathe here, and we're going to then leave our hands where they are, and then if you're up here like this, we're going to just twist over to the right for a breath, come back to the center, and then twist over to the left. Come back to the center. If you're on your knees, looks like this, but don't collapse into that right shoulder. Push up and out, okay? And the same on the left, don't collapse, push up and out. Woo! You have done an awesome job. Now, you have earned to come down onto your belly and your forearms in Sphinx Pose because, woo-wee, core. All right, so here we are in Sphinx Pose. We're not passive, not watching TV, remember from last time. Our hands are nice and spread wide. Our shoulders are stacked over our elbows. Our feet are pressing, pubic bone is pressing into the mat. Booties are squeezing because you don't want all of this in your lower back. And this is our counter pose for all of those forward folds. This is so good for our spines. And if you need to do one, like a little bit more, you can always push up into your hands. But don't do that for too long. All right? Great. Okay. Almost there. Almost at our Shavasana. So we've got a couple more. So we've got to just gently, lovingly roll over onto our backs. And once we're here, just find yourself centered on your mat. Bring your heels, so planting your feet firmly on the mat, bending your knees. Bring your heels close to your booty as much as you can. And lift your toes so that you feel like you've got some force in your heels. And then bend your elbows, fingertips to the sky, and then just push down through your elbows to tuck your shoulder blades into their pockets. We're going to go into bridge pose here, but I want you to be very mindful of your lower back if you have lower back issues. What I don't want is you to tilt your pelvis first. So we're going to come up with a neutral spine, and that just means that you're not pulling. In the old 80s days when we did aerobics, we just did pelvic tilts. Our whole spine is like one solid plank, and we're going to come up solidly. So our shoulder blades are tucked. We're pushing through our heels, and we're just going to push up as far as we can into bridge pose. Our chest comes towards our chin, but you want some space between your chin and your chest, like you're holding an apple or an orange here. And you want to feel as though your inner thighs are moving towards each other and down. So you want to be thinking about your inner thighs and this area between your butt and the backs of your thighs. Breathing here. Now, take one more inhale. And on the exhale, bring yourself down very slowly, one vertebrae at a time, like you're melting your spine onto the mat. Your tailbone is the last thing to come down. Awesome. When you're here, bring your feet as wide as the mat and let your knees, let your knees come in to rest on each other for just a breath. And then walk your feet back towards each other. We're going to do this one more time, and then this time I'm going to add on to it. You don't have to do the adding on part. You can just stay in bridge pose. You can even, if you're exhausted, I'm just going to show you a modified version if you don't want to do the next thing. If you want to just come into, grab a block or a blanket or a pillow into bridge pose and place that right under your sacrum and just sit there, that is so nice. That's a restorative bridge, and that feels beautiful sometimes, just like it lets everything kind of go, whoa. So, what was that again? Whoa. Sorry. So, okay. Here we are, and this is the adding on part. So we've got our feet grounded into the mat, we've got our heels close to our butt, we've got our elbows pushing down, push them down and get your shoulder blades tucked in, and then lifting up through your heels with a neutral spine. If you want to go further, interlace your fingers underneath you and walk your shoulders in together just a little bit, okay? And here, we're doing all the same things. Try not to turn your head like I just did. You want correct alignment. Don't want to turn our heads in these poses too much because it's not good for our spines. Breathing, breathing. Your next inhale, then slowly release your bind. Don't let your fingers slingshot, and then do the same melting spine thing as you come down slowly, one vertebrae at a time, all the way to your tailbone. Excellent. Walking your feet out to the sides of the mat, letting your knees rest in to each other. Woo-wee. Okay. Now, bring your knees one at a time up to your hands and just kind of give them a little bit of a circle on that sacrum. One way and then another. And then we're going to revisit our happy baby. And if you can't get to reach the outsides of your feet, remember you can always grab onto the backs of your thighs, okay? And do it this way and just rock, do it however is easy for you, okay? But if you are going to grab your feet, it's your hand comes to the outside of your foot. You can do one foot and then the other. If doing both is too intense. And the idea is that you're pushing the ball of your foot, both feet if you're doing both, towards the ceiling, and you're pulling the side of your foot down using your biceps. So it's a push and a pull, and it's really a great hip and inner thigh opener. So really get in there. So all of these poses, and I'm just doing a little rock because that feels good on my spine, but all of these poses, sometimes they look really easy, like when you see people doing them, and then you realize the mechanics of them is that they're actually quite active. So you're getting such a workout just doing this. If your biceps are really engaged in pulling your feet as your feet are pushing away. This is resistance. It's so good for all of your muscles. And you don't, like I wasn't engaging all my muscles for so many years doing yoga because I didn't realize that was what you were supposed to do, and I could have been working smarter, is all I'm saying. Okay. If you have your feet in your hands, you can slowly bring them together so that your soles of your feet are touching, and then grab onto your ankles. If you aren't quite there, that's okay. Then we are going to meet you down here with your soles of your feet touching. You might need to adjust your back so that you're not doing a back bend, okay? However you need to, so you're not uncomfortable in your lower back. And if this is too open for you, then you can always grab a blanket or a block, if you have one, or a pillow to put under your knees here. Okay. This is Supta Baddha Konasana, or reclining butterfly pose, and it's just a beautiful opening, hip opening, relaxing pose. You can put your hands on your belly. Take a few deep breaths here. One more. I like to think of when the soles of our feet the soles of our feet are touching. We're here like a figure eight, like an infinite source, of goodness and energy flowing within us, and it's not just contained in our body, obviously. We're connecting to all things, but this is just a beautiful symbol to me of infinite love, infinite energy, infinite source. Whatever that means to you, but that's what I love this pose. All right, so here we come into Shavasana. If you need help to bring your knees up, just use your hands. Bring your knees together and then walk them out slowly. And let your feet flop open. Here, if you need something under your knees, then make sure that you get that, or you have that already, like with the blanket or something, or blocks to put under your knees to give yourself that, your lower back some recline, I don't know what you call it, to give your lower back a break. Let your arms come down by your side, palms facing up. My dog is dreaming. No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. He's dreaming. Take a few deep breaths here in Shavasana and just melt into the mat. Let your forehead relax, your jaw relax. Let your tongue relax inside your mouth. Breathing. As always, if you need to take more time here in Shavasana, I highly encourage you to do so. If you need to move, get some movement in your fingers and toes first. Continuing to breathe deep and just continuing to have that relaxed feeling as we move through coming out of Shavasana. Reach your arms up overhead and stretch your feet towards one wall and your fingers towards the other. Bending your knees. Scooch your hips to the side away from the side that you're rolling over onto. Doesn't matter which side you're on, but then roll onto that outstretched arm and breathe here for just a moment in fetal position. Maybe put that top arm down on the ground and say a thank you to our beautiful Mother Earth for having us, having our backs, and just always holding us up. Now, Gently and carefully, mindfully, moving up towards our easy seat, our Sukasana. If we're coming out of Shavasana, that is. I'm going to grab my Balinki. Keeping your eyes closed if that feels good. Just resting your hands on your knees, sitting up nice and tall. Let's open our palms and take one big deep breath in together, bringing our arms up and overhead. Palms together, stopping them at our third eye just before bringing them to our chest and sort of bowing our heads into our palms. Thank you so much again for joining me today and sharing your energy and your time to do the second in this series. And I really hope that you got something out of it and that you've learned some things and that you've enjoyed yourself and feel successful in what we've done today. Coming down to our hearts. Thank you so much, everybody. I hope to see you in class 3, and we're going to continue on with our building of our Surya Namaskar, building core strength and upper body strength. And we will start to learn a few more standing poses. So think warrior. Yes, warriors. So thanks again. Namaste.